Hey, what's up, Spice Fiends, and welcome to a Nerdy Bunch weekly review for Dune Prophecy. My name's Dave, and joining me is the one person who likes to tinker with thinking machines, my co-host, Andrew. What's up, Andrew?
Actually accurate. What's up, David?
You rule breaker, you.
Like I have to, man. Some secret projects.
We're here to talk episode 3, titled Sisterhood Above All. Following a tragedy, young Tula worries about being accepted despite her family's name, while a skeptical Valya struggles with the decision to take the role of sisterhood. The vow of sisterhood. I feel like the only backstory you really need to know in this episode, because this is the episode of full flashback, the only thing you need to know really is Valya is losing her power because she was cast out last episode, and she's trying to keep hold of that power. And some of these flashbacks teach us why she wants this power. What did you think of this episode?
Very good episode. I think the show continues to go in a positive trend. It's trending upwards for me. We get a lot of fleshing out of characters, their interactions, just some backstory, not some, a lot of backstory, right? But good backstory. I'm happy we get to see some of the stories that they showed us from the past. And it's still sliced in with the present, which I like. So it's a nice juxtaposition. So I'm enjoying learning a lot more about this world. And I'm still with each episode, I'm kind of discussing the show with, one or two more people, right? And I think that's a good thing overall. So yeah, I enjoyed it. I think first thing I want to say is spoilery, but yeah, the show is definitely trending upwards. I want to discuss more about the thing we found out, and I guess the ramification for like the near future and then the 10,000 year future as well. Right? I think that's what's so interesting about this show. This timeline thing just keeps reminding me that there's like such a larger play to keep in mind of. But it's still nice to see the initial embers of just all the interaction, especially with Valya and Tula, were some highlights from this episode. So yeah, I'm enjoying it. And what about you?
No, I'm with you. I think this show is trending up. I think the more I watch, the more I'm being pulled into this world. I'm interested in the universe. I was always interested in the Junior universe, but the movies were telling a very specific story.
Yeah.
And this kind of expands on that, and it almost highlights aspects of the movies. One thing I have mentioned before, that in subtle ways, this show feels more sci-fi than the movies, but it makes sense that by the time we get to the movies, anything sci-fi now would seem like fantasy magic
and then,
in the future. You know, it's not a spoiler that a character on the women gets called a witch, right?
Yeah.
And what we've seen in this show is that
sorceress.
exactly, sorceress. And there's nothing, we have seen that the show's taken time to kind of show us that some of the things they do is rooted in chemistry, science, right? But it's just for those who don't know, and the layman, so to speak, would perceive it as extraordinary.
Burner at the stake.
Exactly. And I love seeing that, and I love seeing the different factions and different beliefs systems that are being put in there. And what I like, a good show does a good job of, whether you agree with characters or not, you see their perspective, right? And how perspective informs. And I think this episode really does a great job of that, because as we get perspective, our views of characters not necessarily change, but a tweak. It shifts. Yes. Or goes deeper even.
Yeah.
Right. There's depth is added to it. I'm like, okay, interesting.
Yeah.
And so then character decisions make more sense, and understanding where they want to go. I'm curious, not necessarily worried, but I'm curious that we have 3 more episodes to go, and I don't know if it's good or bad, but for a lot, it feels like we're still being introduced.
A little shocked. Yeah, it feels like this is like Act 1 is over.
Right.
Or that's what it should be, but I don't know. Let's see.
But again, it's one of those shows where, because of the time frame, nothing is set in stone. So, it's not like, they have, by this point they have to get here, by this point they have to get here. There's none of that.
Yeah, there's
right,
nothing like that. Yeah.
So they can go in a direction, and I think it's more of a testament to say that it might feel like there's not enough, because now more and more each individual, at least for the most part, the individual character narratives are interesting. So you're like, which direction is the main focus?
Yeah, you're not really sure. It's like,
any one of them could be the main focus, and it would work.
Yeah.
right? Because at first it was like, well, is Princess Inez the main character,
Mm.
right? But then it's like, well, I don't know anymore. Is it
Yeah.
Tula? Is it Valia? It seems to be more Valia and Tula, but it's like, but some of the other,
I
but
think
is it
so.
Lila? Is it,
Yeah.
some of the other sisters?
Yeah.
I don't know if we have enough time. But then again, they could be playing with the idea where they're like, we're guaranteed 5 seasons. Let's go. This is how we're going to play it. But let's get into
The
spoilers.
spoilers.
I'm going to split this conversation to 2 parts because I
Okay.
think the episode, even though we jump back and forth, you do have Valia's story and you have Tula's story, right? I think they're two
Yeah.
separate stories that end up connecting at the
Yes.
end. And I want to start with the craziest story, even though it's relatively shorter. Let's go straight to Tula's story. In
Hmm.
the present, it's the aftermath of what happened to Lila and the agony. She didn't want Lila to go through with it, kind of,
She
sort
said
of.
it. She knew this would happen.
This happens. We talked last week about she's probably not dead, but maybe in a comatose state.
Yes, I
And
called
that
it.
proven to be true
Mhm.
right now. And there are some, including Sister Avila, who are like, oh, you know what? We should let her go. It's happened before. And she's so like
She's like, yeah.
chill with it. As like, how many people have you
Yeah.
let go in the past?
Yeah,
Damn.
right.
But of course, because Tula is so close to
Lila
Lila,
lit. She's like,
she's like, no, I'm gonna hold on to her. And I'm gonna
mhm.
take her to a secret room with computers. Andrew,
She
what
had
the
this
hell?
a whole AI, a whole eagle eye,
We've been
full
theorizing,
system.
and if we were right, what's it, the Matrix or whatever, the genetic
Yeah,
Matrix
yeah.
is an AI, and it's a speaking AI. It's not even just
Because
like a
yeah,
regular. It's like speaking,
you know why it
understanding.
also makes sense. Sorry, is because somebody who's been keeping what genetic code and genetic material of people, like, okay, how is she? How is she then, like,
Yes,
integrating that?
exactly.
Like, what with their hands? Like, I mean, kind of, come on, like,
With an
go
abacus.
figure. But I won't lie, I didn't know that it was that much tech though, because that's like Tony Stark would be like, oh. Like, that's very like Wakanda level premium Shuri type tech, right? So I'm impressed with the system they have, right? And yeah, I just feel that they started the thread of Lila Lily. I don't know why I always say Lily. Lila,
Because of Agatha.
yeah, it's
There's a Lilia in Agatha.
yes. So Lila, right? Because I feel like she's coming back, but not as her, right?
Hmm.
It's
Oh, it's gonna
it's
be Dorothea.
100,
100%. It's
like
Dorothea.
I literally like, here's my card, put my money on it. And I think that's gonna be super interesting, right? Just to give us another antagonist. But I feel like that's what's interesting about this show is just a bunch of different players on the chessboard type of show, as opposed to yeah, kind of, this is not a story of Atreides, right? Or the stories of the Harkonnen. It's the stories of all these families and the interactions with this spicy world, pun intended. So yeah, no, I'm I'm just finding that really interesting, and I just I was so happy at the end when they had the Lila and the stasis thing,
Hmm.
whatever. Like I knew it. I just knew
They
it.
just add some spice to the thing. She
Just
had the
knew it.
idea to like add some spice to the stasis thing,
Yeah,
and I don't think it's gonna go as smoothly. It's definitely going to be
Mm.
Dorothea coming out. You're gonna have the
It has
actress
to
who
be.
plays Lila doing double duty, you
Hmm.
know. And I think, I think what's interesting, and we'll get to it fully, but you start to understand more why Raquella doesn't pick Dorothea, because you
Hmm.
start to understand that she is almost like Dorothea is too good at this, where she actually fully believes that we're doing the good thing. This is the
Yeah.
right way to go. She's all about that. So Raquel is like, yeah, she's not going to be the one that breaks the rules, because
Mhm.
that she's not going to
Oh,
be the
no.
hypocrite, because she's like
Yeah.
out here professing like, do not play with thinking machines. Like Dorothea is
Mhm.
fully in that kind of
Yeah.
that mindset. And so if she was ever to find out that
So
we're using a thinking
we're
machine for this,
using Jarvis in the basement. Knowing her, probably shut it down. She'd
yeah,
shut it all
exactly.
down. Like,
Exactly.
yeah.
Whereas Raquel needs someone who's willing to bend the rules and break the rules, and
Yeah.
that's what she sees in Valia,
And a
as opposed
young
to seeing
Valia
Dorothea.
standing out
Yeah.
there in the rain. So like, okay.
But let's go to the past of Tula. Tula's a character that we've spoken about, who is someone who seems to be quote unquote nicer than
Yeah.
Valia.
Yeah.
She seems
She
more
threw me for a
empathetic.
loop.
and things like that. But every
She's
time, but we spoke about
crazy.
last week how it's like, as nice as she seems, she still kind of drank the Kool-Aid. She's still aware
Yeah,
of what they do.
yeah,
So how far does that go? And I think this
yeah.
episode exemplifies that. Ugh, what did you think when she was just like telling Ori like, "Oh, I'm a
It's
Harkonnen," and
it's
Ori's being that, at first you're thinking Ori's gonna be that guy that's like, "What? How dare you? No,
yeah.
kill me!"
And then you're thinking, oh, it's Romeo and Juliet, and they're
Right? They're gonna run off together.
gonna
You
make it
know,
work.
make it work somehow. And if he dies is because, someone on the outside killed him and that's what changed her, right? Or something like that. And then
Nope.
not realizing that
Nope.
she was expecting, but that's the thing, right? What's great is that she was also expecting him to react negatively as a way for her to be like, yes,
It's a
justified.
justification, like, yeah, 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 She literally, like, her phrase being like, "Oh, oops. I mean, I still have to do this, but I'm just gonna feel really bad about what I did."
You weren't
No,
supposed to be a nice guy. Like when he says, "Nothing would ever let me hate you." Our families, yeah, they choose hate because it's what they're taught. A
no.
disagreement between our ancestors during wartime over a century ago should
Sure.
bleed into their future, but that's their
Yeah.
burden, not ours. I was like, "Damn, he's
I
a
was
nice
like, you
guy."
know what? Nice, nice, nice. When they say any final words.
Right, right.
I feel like he had some memorable quotes. R.I.P. Young Atreides
Yep.
lad.
Young
But
Atreides.
I think you know what's most messed up is she actually let him see his clan dead. Like
Right.
I feel like she could have just killed him in the room, right? Like just been like, oh, sorry. But she's that like low key evil that she's like, nah, nah, I need you to also see what happened first. Like you your clan, and then I'll put you down. Same way I put down your horse.
An eye for an eye is not enough with that. She says that it's not
Like,
enough.
also, okay, but how much is enough? Because that's a lot of eyes. Like, I'm just saying, if we're counting eyes, I mean, the shit. So over 32 now. I'm like, like, damn, lady. I think because I very much last podcast and even my previous viewings of this season, I've definitely been like, oh, Tula, she's one of those nice girls, just like trapped in a bad situation. Nope,
Yep.
nope. She she has that dog in her,
You
as
know,
they
when
say.
last week's episode when she said to Valia, when have I ever been one to shy away from the hard decisions?
Yeah, she wasn't
I
joking.
didn't quite believe her then.
No, I thought it
Now I'm
was
like,
like, oh, like yeah, you've been forced to do some maybe one or two killings, and you were really upset. Not like he wiped them. Like she put the poison in whatever the shea butter
yeah, yeah.
that these guys were using, right? Like the this just like the depth of understanding what she actually did and just watching them all be dead is just like damn,
Right.
like that's some proper assassin stuff.
But also in a twisted way. That's why I think it's twisted in an interesting way is that she almost tells herself that she cares. I like kind of Valia where she's like, you do something evil and move on, walk on from it. Whereas like Tula kind of stays in the moment, like you're hugging
Yeah,
the guy, like it's
yeah.
like damn,
Like
like which I
why?
don't know which is worse, you know,
Yeah, why are you elongating this? Was my point with why are you making him see this? If you're still
right?
just kill him and go.
It's like if you're going to
Oh.
use an analogy, Valia is a wolf, and
Mhm.
and, and Tula is a wolf in sheep's clothing. You know what you're
Mhm.
getting with Valia, right?
Yeah,
Stay away from her. Tula will be
no,
your friend and then kill you.
and then kill you.
She'll be your lover, have sex with you, then kill you.
Like I accept your proposal and make you feel like the
Like,
luckiest man in the world. Which, hey
right?
man, again, because Valia just killed him. At least he got a nice night, right?
And
What a way to go.
what's sad is that you can tell, like, in the grand scheme of things, the ongoing battle between the Atreides and the Harkonnens, this could have been a moment to end
Darkness.
that. You could have ended it there
Mm-hmm.
and then. He was willing to forgive the past. She could have said
Mm-hmm.
the same thing, and they could have created a new joint, thing where both families are great with each other. But
Romeo
no,
and Juliet.
it just makes it worse because then it just becomes a
Yeah.
back and forth between the two families
Mm-hmm.
for 10,000 years.
And she had an active role to play in that. It's like, oh
Yep.
damn, okay.
Yep.
All right,
Yep.
Tula. I'll stop seeing you as so shy and meek. And
Which I find it interesting because it's like, if you go back to the beginning, we go to Valia's past, right? And when they're at the dinner table, breakfast table, and they're talking about their ancestor history.
Mhm.
and how she mentions that the grandfather was trying to stop a genocide,
Yeah.
and because of that, he was branded a traitor. But the family keeps telling her, "Oh, shut up! What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you?"
Yeah.
So my question is, do they believe that their grandfather was
Mm.
innocent? What do you
The
think? I know you
the
probably don't know the answer, but it's almost as
I
if they're not with her in terms of being
yeah.
angry about this.
I feel like it's or I can see two options. One is they don't see it the way she does.
Mhm.
She may have a different viewpoint. Maybe she was there. Who knows? I mean, she wasn't. But and another could be like sometimes things happen, but again, when you're the oppressed, it's kind of like don't talk about it. Don't be taboo. Like just sweep it under the rug. I'm never mentioning it again, right? And so like don't remind us of our biggest shame, right? It could also be like just shut up, girl. We know what do you want us to
Mhm.
do? Like there's nothing to do, right? So I feel like it could be one of those because they really just seem to be at odds with her from the jump, right? I mean, for obvious reasons,
Everything.
but like that is not a happy home.
But that's the thing. It's like they blame her for everything because it's like,
Yeah,
okay, yeah, you have Griffin who kind of supports her because
yeah,
the narrative tells us that Atreides comes into town and she's like, someone should talk to him about our
hmm,
father, and so Griffin's like, you know what? Don't listen to the parents. I'll go talk to him.
yeah.
Next cut, Griffin's dead. We're made to believe that it was the Atreides who killed
Hmm.
Griffin. We don't know. We
Not
don't know this for
not
sure.
not conclusively.
But then the family blames her for that too. It's just
So
like
that's what did I miss something? Because I was like, I didn't see the direct blame.
no, yeah, no, because it's just like the blame was all like, "Oh, see what you did," and
Yeah,
that's part of why they sent her away. And even later on, when they find out that Tula had killed their tradies, they blamed Valia for that too. It's
yeah.
just like, "See
It's
what you
just
did." That's just
it's
like,
just like
damn.
I don't understand. It's when you're the black sheep. I guess it's just easy to pin all crimes on you, right? But
Right.
I think I'm not sure. Is it like it's one of those like I don't know, chicken or the egg, right? Because
Mm.
is it Valia's demeanor that continues to make her receive this blame, or is it all of this unfair blame that just caused her to be like, listen, you know what, fine, y'all see me as the enemy, I'll be that person. All right, because every single time, like it was automatically just like, oh no, Vale done it again.
Right. It's like, I didn't even do
Did
anything. I may have, like, put the idea in people's
this?
minds, sure,
Yeah,
but
but still, still,
it
it's
was
not me,
it wasn't me.
not
And
me.
then Tula, mind you, is there saying, like, "What can
Mm,
I do for attention?"
different
My goodness.
Actually,
How many
a
people
funny
have to kill?
sitcom in a different way. Like, just
All the
notice
attentions of
me.
Vali. I'm the one. I'm
That's
trying to be
so
evil.
funny.
How come Vali gets to use the
Vale
voice,
gets all the attention.
right? Which,
Mm.
speaking of the voice,
Oh yeah,
it's
that
interesting how
scene.
they
Yeah,
introduce it here. It's alluded the fact that now my understanding is that not only is she able to do the voice, it's a new thing that she's the first person to be able to discover. They almost portray it like
yeah.
a mutant ability, right? It comes at a certain
The
time
first
through accident.
mutant. Mm,
We get a
mhm.
story between her and her brother when he was drowning, and she saved him by inadvertently using the voice on him. He's like, "I heard you tell me to keep going," and I kept going. Right.
Yeah,
My thing with that is that I don't know. I thought it would be something like, oh, she was reading old text and it was an old method that she found out how to do, and then she kind of started teaching herself in secret and figured it out, as opposed
yeah,
to she just could do it. So my question is like, well, what made her special that she could just do it,
yeah.
right? And then now they want to teach other people. Like, what do you think of the whole revelation behind the voice for you? How did it make you feel?
I don't know much, but the slight little I found out in my research is just that there were some differences there with the book for people who care. So
Yeah.
apparently, in the book, she dove into the water and pulled him out, and then they waited for a boat. She still had the voice, but that was just for those who care about the slight nuances, because I do. But I just use that to say and rewind into the voice. I feel like it's it's her Spider-Man power, right? She got bitten by something that happened off screen, and
But
all
it
of a
can be
sudden she's
taught.
the first, right? Yeah. Oh, yeah, right, because it can be taught. Actually, I
Yeah.
do back up because she said to those two after she used it to make her slap the other one. She was like, "Oh, sorry, I didn't think it would. I didn't think it would work that well. Like, I don't. What did you expect? He said slap her. Like, yeah, I'm gonna slap her. So yeah, you're right. That does make it. So it's like it's more like the Force, right? It's more like a Star Wars. She's the first to awaken the Force within her. Maybe they're still going to touch on it, right?
But the thing is, with the Force, because my belief is that anyone can be taught. Because a lot
Mhm.
of these things, biology, right? So anyone can be taught the voice. You just have to be taught it.
Yeah,
But with something like the Force, you have to have Force sensitive in you. It's like a
yeah.
mutant. So it's like the way it's portrayed here is which one is it? It's almost like trying to do both.
Is it for everyone? Is it for exclusive people? Is it just a knowledge that's not shared? But even if so, because I guess like with the Force, like if it was random, technically somebody else somewhere would unlock this just by the law of
Exactly.
randomness, anyways.
Exactly. So why is she the first?
Yeah,
So what makes her the first person to do it? What was she special?
specifically. Yeah.
Or is it just what just happened? It just happened and there's nothing
Oh
special. It's
yeah.
just you know.
This is the story of the first. They still don't know why.
So I just
Oh
felt
no.
that some of the reveals again, I think sometimes when you reveal too much about special things, it almost makes it underwhelming. It's like when Star Wars where they tried to introduce midichlorians to explain the Force.
Hmm.
It's just like keeping a bit of mystery makes it more fun. But I
Hmm.
think as they reveal more and more, where she's just like, yeah, I just did it for the first time, and it kind of just happened, and I don't know why. And
Hmm.
she kind of reverse engineers to figure out how to do it. I almost wish there
Yeah.
was more depth of the history,
Yeah.
that someone had done it 5,000 years prior, and she kind
Hmm.
of was figuring it out.
Or
Something like that.
even on the opposite side, like even if she for whatever reason was the first, it'd be nice to see her honing that skill more. Because we've seen clips of her attempting it or using it, right? On Dorothea, she's Spanish. Then Dorothea, the two little ones,
And
on
Raquel.
Desmond, on and Raquel, actually, that's true.
Mhm.
That's actually funny. Forgot that. I wish Raquel was like, mm-hmm. Like
Ooh,
good, good,
ooh,
good. Ooh, okay, okay, young
ooh.
one. You have some balls on you.
I like this.
Um, so yes, it would have been nice to just see some. At least I'm one of those. I like the Karate Kid type movies. I like when you see the build up of, oh, this is my new power. Like,
Mhm.
okay, how does it work? So it would have been nice to, yeah, see her delve more into, oh, why can I do this? What is this? What what is this not? And those kind of things. So I don't know. Maybe we'll have more. I am slightly worried that we're halfway through the season. Honestly, this
Exactly. That's what I'm
it,
saying.
it feels like I should have 8 episodes, right? And I
Mhm.
have 6 instead for where we are. Um, but then I don't know what could have been done differently to not feel like this. I don't know,
Mhm.
maybe one less storyline because there are a few happening. The Harkonnen, the Atreides, and then just kind of like the overall the emperor, and then his son who's dead, and then the princess and her Constantine brother. So it's like, yeah, I'm also not worried that the next 3 episodes I'm not going to get a satisfying conclusion. Maybe it is possible because this episode was almost an hour.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Right, I haven't seen the runtime for the rest. If they stick to a similar length and we
We could
have
have 3
three
miles.
more hours of
Yeah,
content,
that's a
then
lot.
I do believe, even 2.5 hours of content from now is still a decent chunk. But then it would mean like the next few episodes have to like hit it, like almost like beat for beat, no skips. But let's see. I don't know. Let's see.
We start to see after she's sent to the sisterhood. And I find it interesting because initially we believe that Valya and Tula left for the sisterhood together,
Yeah,
but it's actually
but
Valya by herself. Tula then later on decides she wants to join, but it was never an option for her initially.
mhm.
We see the beginnings of the clashing between Dorothea and Valya.
Yeah,
Um,
the ceremony.
any chance she gets, Dorothea just throws in a little shade. We both know the truth. You always be a Harkonnen. It's like Harkonnen is like
That's all.
negative verb.
Yeah. It's like, Game of Thrones. You don't watch Game of Thrones, but you bastard, which they do
Yeah,
in all
yeah.
the shows.
It's
It's
almost
like,
like saying that,
yeah, it's like,
or
calm
when she
down.
says, when they're doing the test. I like the test, and this is why I find you interesting. It's not really a test. It's more of a meditation to decide. You
Mhm.
stay here until you decide. Are you going to go back to your old life? Are you going to throw everything away and only commit to
Yeah.
the sisterhood? You had some people within 2 seconds, like, yep,
Some
committing,
people
boom.
like that. That's it. All right. Yeah. Yeah.
You have done
Easy.
it. What I find interesting is that if you'd asked me episode one, I would have told you Valia was dedicated from the jump. And this episode kind of lets you realize that maybe she wasn't. And part of that is, she's harboring. And again, this is where you get some crossover influence with Star Wars, right? Where she's harboring a lot of anger for
Mm-hmm.
the Atreides, and in order to move forward with sisterhood, she can't even carry
You
that with
can't
her,
carry that into
right?
the
And
process.
which makes it interesting because this is the question I ask you right now: is do you think she's still carrying it? Because you've seen in past episodes, episode one, Harkonnen are asking for a request, nah, denied, boom. Like, like there's moments where there's little things she'd say about the Harkonnens and the Atreides that
Yeah,
tell you that maybe there's still a bit of anger there. So if push came to shove, and it was these were separate things. Because right now her plan almost seems to come to the same place where it's like we're going to take control of everything, and at the
yeah,
same time, you know, give a better name for my family and overthrow the Atreides. But
yeah.
if those two were separated, it's like either control everything, but your family, or you get revenge on the Atreides. Which one would you pick? I still think she'd pick revenge. What do you
She'd be
think?
like, hmm. She'd be like, ah. Revenge. I, I do see that. Yeah. Um,
Because I don't
it-
think she's as
it's
into the
just
sisterhood as much as I'm
this
trying to gain power.
power.
Like it seems similar,
I
but it's not the same.
agree. I agree with you. You're right. Starting from the jump where, from the way I saw Valia of the first two episodes, I would have expected she would have. What was there? They were doing. For those who can't see my hands, what the sisters were doing, should have been like after 2 seconds. All right, we're we're good. But she literally like she was so stubborn, and I think they were also highlighting to us how stubborn she is,
Mm,
right? And it was only Mother Raquel essentially pulling her in, and I feel like almost just showing her kind of that there was a third way, right? Because she probably had this image of what the sisters were, and then Raquel giving her the lowdown and the secret sauce. She saw a way where she could get to her goals. So I agree with you, is what I'm saying, because it's not like she's like, yeah, sisterhood, I'm all about it. It's more like, oh no, I'm here because somebody showed me a nuclear warhead when I was younger in your basement. Right. I saw things here and I decided I was gonna get to the top. So you're right. I definitely see that, and she will not. I feel like even the thing that's happened with Desmond as well has just added extra like, oil to the fire, right? Like
mhm,
it's really gonna push her right to the brink. And I suspect one of the camels that will break the back would be Lila's body being taken over, coming back, and just kind of exposing a lot of the occurrences and breaking the news to the sisters of how she really died. I feel like that would definitely be a very telling time where, if she had to pick between herself and the sisters, or her ideals and the sisters, she would even go and work with Desmond, right? Like I'm not saying that would happen, but I mean like I could easily see her for I don't know why he would, but like she would is my point. I don't see Tula being somebody who would work with Desmond, right? Just a counter. So I guess that's why, yeah. I mean, I've seen a lot of people really like this episode, and for good reason, because we've actually like gone to some proper fleshing out of characters.
mhm,
And it's just Tula and Valia. And I think
mhm,
that's why I really wish there were 8 episodes, because I almost would kind of want this for a couple more
mhm.
characters, right? Like almost like 3 episodes worth of this. So like one for Desmond as well. Because what's up with Desmond? They can't end this without letting me know more about him. The Emperor, I want to know more, right?
I
Like,
mean, last week Theodosia was like my special circumstances. What is that teasing?
wait, yeah, come on,
you know,
go on.
like what, things like that. I completely agree with you, and I think this episode, yeah, it highlights the fact that for me that Valia is about the power as opposed
Mm-hmm.
to. I don't think she's so much into the religion aspect. I think that's why you see Theodosia,
Mm-hmm.
right? She's into the religion aspect. She fully
Yeah,
believes,
definitely.
no person shall make a thinking machine like a human mind. She
Yeah,
fully believes in the cause. And even if she knows that we're controlling the different houses, we're doing it for their own good
yeah,
type of thinking, as opposed to we're doing it for our power. Like she even mentions before, we're not supposed to have the power, we're supposed to guide those with power.
yeah.
Right, right. So yeah,
So like
and
emo.
So
Gosh, yeah.
I think that's when Raquel was like, "Ah, I see what you're talking about. I taught you too well in this, but we have
Mm-hmm.
to do some shady stuff too,
It's so
right?"
funny to be like, oh man, come on, don't do what I said and told you. Like, just ease up.
Anything minor moments that stood out to you? Oh, at the end, Tula lets one of the I believe Atreides, right? He doesn't say his name Atreides, but Albus. I feel like that's gonna have ramifications
Somehow, for sure.
somehow. You know, you have to have someone survive, and that's gonna, tell the story of our family was killed by
Yeah.
Harkonnens,
Yeah.
kind
So
of
I
thing like
was
that.
there. I
Hmm.
saw her.
So the question is, will we have ramifications this season, or is this set for the future when he comes back and he's like 10 years older and is like, remember me?
I feel like that boy we'll see again this season, even if not for long. But there's something you mentioned last
Well, he'd be
time
older
where
now, right?
yeah,
He'd be
he'll
older.
definitely be older. But like they have the they have the creative IP to literally do it. We might not see that boy for another 8,000 years.
That's what I'm saying. Something. And it comes back, it was
The-
like, remember me?
Come back
I
like
have
yes,
powers now.
that was. And I think that's also what I'm enjoying watching a show where like honestly there's no real border or barrier to the creative freedom because whatever the way they use this spice, like I think whoever has been a long time listener, first of all, if so, I love you. But like I often talk about how like I like to know the power scaling in worlds or animes or like how things work. And I
Mhm.
wish I could know all the uses of spice. Right? Because it
Well, we've
seems
seen
to
a
be like,
drug.
yeah,
We've seen in tea, like
tea,
herbal tea.
nice tea that Tula drank, right?
Mhm, mhm. Seen it as a drug. We know from the movies that it's used to navigate the jump points for
Mm,
space
mm,
travel so you can see
correct.
more,
Very key, in
right?
fact.
Some people have used it to see the past and the future
And
in the
future,
movies. Yes,
like
right,
both, which
right.
means, and this is what it's been used for. I mean, this is
Mhm,
all still on like limited usage or conditions. Like, what is the proper, like, if you actually
mhm,
explore spice in a lab, it
mhm.
feels like it is chemical X.
Seriously.
Like, wow.
Um, One moment I did like the symbolism of the moment where she has to do a mercy kill to the horse.
Mm.
And she's, it says sometimes you need to do what needs to be done. And it's almost like that was hinting at what was going to happen later when she has to
Nope.
kill Ori. Like,
With the
doing
same way she
what you
killed the
think it needs to
horse.
do. Exactly, exactly. It was
That's
projected to us the same exact way, right?
poetically. Oh.
I love that. I like the
Mm.
line that Raquel says to Valia. She says, "Sometimes our misfortunes are the sails that take us to the shores we're meant to be
Yeah,
on."
it stole my final quote.
Love
Right.
that line.
My wife was like, write it down. Write it down. So
It's a great line.
such a beautiful line.
Great
Fantastic.
line. Great
Honestly,
line.
fantastic. I also did I know before that Raquel lost her husband to the machines? I don't know. I don't know
Yes,
that
it was mentioned
I don't
briefly
know
in
that I was
episode
paying
one.
attention because I heard it
That's
again. I was
part of
like,
her
what?
revenge.
Yeah.
What I find interesting, and I can't remember the actress's name, and I don't know if it was I'll just say my eyes couldn't come off of it. That Raquel is played by a younger woman in makeup. And I was just like,
You could
I couldn't
tell.
stop staring. I was like, why did
Yeah.
you have two
So,
actors? I don't
it,
understand.
it looked worse than Mission Impossible.
Right?
As in with
At
the
least Mission Impossible, it's supposed to be a mask, right?
yeah.
Whereas this one, I was just like, why didn't you get an old lady to play old, you
Like,
know,
come on,
Raquel?
guys.
Why?
Come on.
It's not like you get the same actors to play the
So
young versions of Tula
she's
and
not
Valia.
it's not Colin Farrell. Like,
Right.
come on. Let's
Like it was
calm
very
down.
okay, good. It's not just me because to me it was very evident. Like I couldn't stop noticing it. It didn't blend in at
Like
all.
I was just staring at her chin. Like, it's like
He's like, you're staring at on the touch. Like,
it's just like looking at the eye area. Like,
all right. Though I will say,
um, yeah.
gone. What are you say?
I was gonna say the agony attempt or
Oh yes.
when yeah, Dorothea and
Nope.
Bali were in there. Yeah, it's funny. That was the LeBron meme. Just when you pack up, like she was literally out of there. But no, it's so funny. They were a coward. Um, I guess I didn't expect. It's nice to see more about Valia because yes,
Mhm.
it's nice to see that I guess she's somebody who actually she does hesitate or she used to hesitate, right? And she just had to overcome that because then Raquel says to her, "Don't come back here till you go through that process
Mhm.
on your own."
Mhm.
Which was fair, right? It's like, I mean, I'll give you the chance right there.
I gave you the
What's more?
secrets, the
Come
chances.
on, like, and honestly, shout out Raquel. I feel like she handles her business properly
You know,
for
Raquel
her own goals.
Raquel, I put her on the level of recent badass women in shows with Ambessa.
Yep.
You know, she reminds me of Angela Ambessa.
Just yes.
Yeah,
Arcane.
yeah, right,
For
right.
you swines that don't know.
And then and what's her name in upcoming Creature Commandos? What's her name? The head of Force X,
Amanda Wallace.
Amanda Waller. You know, I feel like these
Walla.
black women who are like
Yep.
powerful
Yep.
badasses, but also
And super
questionable,
smart but shady. It is
questionable
on the
shade levels
line.
of shadiness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love seeing it. I will say, my final note: they did a fantastic job casting young Tula and Valya. Looks exactly like the actresses for the old Tula and Valya.
They did actually. Yeah.
Because there's some
That's a
scenes where you
fair one.
transition from young to old to young, and it's like the faces are the
Yeah.
same. You can tell they put thought into the looks, the
No, they actually
mannerisms,
did.
little subtle touches. Yeah, I think.
But then did a young lady with old makeup.
Yeah, that's what confuses me. Like,
It's
why
like,
didn't you just do young
okay.
casting there? Again, maybe it'll
Strange.
make sense and somehow I don't know, but right now I don't understand why they didn't just have two actors.
Yeah. And then did we it was just funny again, just to touch on it. Like the fact that Valia used the voice on her mother. That scene with
Mm-hmm.
the whole family. Everybody's
Mm-hmm.
just like,
Oh shit.
are you
You know,
are you
I'd already written out of my notes Violet kills mother at that point.
No,
I'd like
I was pretty sure. I was actually pretty sure that was gonna happen, and then yeah, just the uncle be like sorceress. But he was not having that. It's just like
Nope.
yeah, no, fair enough. I mean that time that's not predicting the weather.
No.
That's we saw you and heard you. Like
Mm-hmm.
whoa.
Like, whoa.
Yeah, that was crazy.
And I feel like does Vale only have like one move? Put your knife to the throat.
I kept
Like
wondering about
that and
that.
slap, I guess. But it's like do other stuff. Be creative with it. I don't know.
Yeah, and that's why I think, or maybe for I mentioned for the show they changed it so that her voice is what saved her brother, and
Hmm.
I like things like that, right? Big
I do.
Heroes
I do.
fan from back in the day, and even My Hero anime, because I love when like just like obscure powers are just explored to the max, right? Like you
Mhm.
just do all sorts of things. Like can she look in the mirror and use the voice and like be like do your work twice as fast.
Right. Right. Right.
Like speed up herself. But like things like that, and it's just a little thing. Like I do hope and I would love for them to just explore more about that power and the limitations, right?
Mhm.
Like how many seconds does the person stay under your control for if you haven't given them a new command? Just little things like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It
Yeah.
would be fun to know. Like I mentioned, I love like a power scaling chart just to understand because it's a cool power, right? And I don't want it to just be glossed over because it's just like you said, okay, how, why, what? How are you teaching people? What is the teaching process? Is this
Hmm.
about like a muscle thing? Is it just like what is it?
Hmm. I agree. I agree. Um, Episode ends like we mentioned. She goes back home, and
Hmm.
she meets her nephew,
Oh,
who we've seen previous episode trying to sell the welfare,
yep,
which is
that
cool
was
to
funny.
see
Yep,
the welfare being carved
yeah,
on the planet. The planet looks terrible.
yeah,
I'd be
terrible,
I'd be
disgusting.
upset too. You know, the
Yeah,
Harkonnens, they sucks. They go from like the ice crappy planet, and then in the modern-ish setting, the movies, they're on this like shitty planet with no sun.
yeah, yeah.
Like either way. And I'm still interested to see how they go into that kind of pale skin, bald head,
But
mostly
yeah,
male look, right? That we see in the movies. How do they get there? Of course, we might
that's
not
a
see that in
dumb.
this
I
story
think
because
it's
that's
a
10,000
black
years.
sun because
Yeah, yeah,
there's
it's
a
a black
black
sun.
sun on. So like I don't know. I feel like repeated exposure to a black sun is just. I feel like hair follicles don't gel well with that. Don't quote me though.
But when she goes home, everything looks it's a nice they have a nice apartment, it's nice
Hmm.
buildings, looks a lot nicer. Things that they've had a little
Yeah,
bit of a come up.
yeah.
Yeah. So I'm wondering why she's going home and how that's going to help her gain power back again
Hmm.
within the houses.
Yeah.
And any assumptions? I have nothing. I don't
I,
know how that's going to
I,
help her.
I don't know. So it's interesting because she has been rejecting their request for a truth sayer, right?
Hmm.
For forever. Now she's showing up herself, tail between her legs. So
It's like,
I don't know.
well,
I will find
well,
it
well.
interesting, right? Because I guess one thing we know about families, they do have a lot of knowledge. And who's alive? Old uncle, right?
Uh-huh.
Uncle Iro. Um, So I feel like even just again, knowledge is power, not to be cliche, and just purely even from that standpoint, like there's a lot. I feel like if she if she hasn't, I'm assuming she hasn't spoken to them in years, right? That conversation was not giving. Oh, I saw you last Thanksgiving.
No, no, absolutely not.
That's I haven't seen you in 20 years, and even that's too soon. So I don't know. It would be interesting to see them actually for once have a clashing conversation, right? Not like the bull. Yeah, what was that bull that
Oh,
Tula
that bull.
saw? That's an
It's
Atreides bull or something?
Yes, it's in the Atreides book. Because what was hinted at, because the reason why they were on that planet, the Atreides, they were going on a hunt. The bull.
Yes.
No, that's they were preparing for the hunt. And
Yes.
so and then the idea was that, remember, she was telling the boy they used that the inside of the guts of the animal to lure the
Correct.
bull, which
Yes.
she
Which
used to
is
kill them all, which is why the bull got
which
lured at the end. So it's like full circle. Nice symbolism.
crazy stuff
The bull's
actually.
like the bull's the one that saw, like, oh, I'm about to tell the Atreides on you.
Like
That's how they found
wow.
out.
Wow.
The bull had some spice.
Diabolical work.
Someone had saw the future.
Mm, and sorry, there's so much I want to see in this Dune world now. It's just like, okay, what does spice do to animals? What does spice do to flying creatures like Silo?
Also, I do like this show because this show could have been a show that, because it's TV, could have settled in the same environments.
Rooms, like the 4 rooms.
Exactly the same rooms,
Krypton.
right? This does a good job of giving a variety of environments and things like that, and the costumes of the characters, I think.
It
And
looks
even
good,
again,
honestly.
we spoke about last week, some of this, they do more establishing shots of like
Yeah.
spaceships landing and things like that. I was like, oh, I like this.
It's good.
Looks good.
It sets the tone and it looks nice. I'll give it to
Yes.
them.
Yes. I think that's it. What do you nerdies think of episode 3? We're halfway through the season. Is it a show, like Andrew said, that you find yourself talking about it more and more each week? Is it
Sure.
a show that gives you more insights on the film itself? Let us know. Find us on social media at The Nerdy Bunch. Also, whatever podcast platform you are listening on this, give us a review, thumbs up, star, whatever you do. It helps us get more recognition through the algorithms and the thinking machines that help spread this around. You can also find us, you can send us a message via email, thenerdybunchpodcast@gmail.com. We'd like to know some of your thoughts, ideas, shows that you want us to review, shows that you are reviewing. Give us some of your reviews. That'd be interesting to read out on this podcast. I wouldn't mind doing that because you do some of our job for us. We have a lot to do. And I think that's it. Check out some of our other podcasts coming up soon. I'll keep you surprised on what's coming, but there's a couple of stuff coming around the corner. Check out our recent podcast that we finished doing. Recently finished Agatha All Along. We recently finished Penguin.
Arcane.
So check those out. We're currently doing Silo, and we finished Arcane as well.
Yes.
There's a lot. Andrew and I are not getting any
much
sleep.
TV.
Thank you, Andrew.
Thank you, David.
My name is English Dave, and this has been a Nerdy Bunch weekly review for Dune Prophecy, episode 3. And as always, Andrew,
keep it nerdy.
Peace.